Let me hear you say, oh my God. Oh my God. All right, I need y'all to help me with this song. The oil and gas company bends the truth, oh come on.
No way.
But it's not just them. It's Exxon Valdez, right? It's Massey Coal, where they kill people in coal mines. It's the whole industry, and as a matter of fact, if you've ever worked in industries, it's the other industries as well. You push it as far as you can till you can't get away with it anymore, then you pay the fine, then you do it again. Even if it means poisoning the water, even if it means killing your employees. That's the way the game is played, and that's the game that has to be stopped. So there's a long history of this. It starts with the Titanic. It starts before that. We have to cease our faith in these technocrats, our unquestioning faith in what the technocrats say, and use our own common sense. So I need you to help me with this song. Starts out pretty mellow. About a century ago this year, the Titanic sailed out on the sea. Never sink, never fear, my dear. It was our best technology. Never sink, never fear, my dear. But now it's sunk as it can be. You can hear the captain say, whoops. You can hear the captain say, oh my God. Oh my God. Let me hear you say, whoops. Whoops. Let me hear you say, oh my God. Let me hear you say, trust me. Trust me. We're gonna bury that poison in your backyard. Let me hear you say, Exxon Valdez. Let me hear you say, Gulf Coast Oil. Let me hear you say, Massey Coal. They killed 29 men and made my blood boil. And here's how they do it. Not just them, every industry. This is from federal dispositions. First we switch off the safety, cause it holds back production. And then we cut a few corners, just to keep to our deadline. Then we fake a few reports to give to the inspectors, so the miners' sons and the miners' daughters can breathe bad air and drink black water. Let me hear you say, oops. Let me hear you say, oh my God. Let me hear you say, trust me. We're gonna bury that poison in your backyard. But oh, we got jobs at any price. We got profit at any cost. We got hearts as cold as ice. We got lives as good as lost. Let me hear you say, oops. Let me hear you say, oh my God. Let me hear you say, trust me. We're gonna bury that poison in your backyard. So we drilled up in Youngstown, and the earthquakes were so petite. So we blew up that house in Bainbridge and set the water on fire so the world could see. Right? Right now there's 2 gas wells burning out of control in the North Atlantic and Africa. Chemical rains down from the sky, but Chevron's gonna fix it by and by. Let me hear you say, oops. Let me hear you say, oh my God. Let me hear you say, trust me. We're gonna bury that poison in your backyard. They need 1 million gallons of fresh water we will never see again. Never run in the rivers like it oughta. Never fall on down like summer rain. Let me hear you say, oops. Let me hear you say, oh my God. Let me hear you say, trust me. They're gonna bury that poison in your backyard. They got a chemical cocktail, and it's guaranteed to make you sick. They're gonna spill it on the ground and drill it in the ground and spread it on the road so nice and thick. They need 1 trillion gallons of fresh water we will never see again. Never run in the river like it oughta, and never fall on down like a summer rain. Think of all that water gone. Let me hear you say, oops. Let me hear you say, oh my God. Let me hear you say, trust me. We're gonna bury that poison in your backyard. But oh, let me put it to you straight. Suicide is not our fate. We can fight back right now. Come on, let me show you how. let's do it again. No frack Ohio, no frack Ohio, no, 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 no frack Ohio. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alan. So do people have smartphones? Yes? Okay, so tweet at ban injection using the hashtags ban injection, Ohio wasteland, or don't waste Ohio. If you've got pictures, post them on the Facebook event. So everybody tweet. Our next speaker in here to kick off today's portion of My Government Isn't Protecting Me of this broadcast, please welcome Conservation Coordinator for Sierra Club's Ohio chapter, Brian Kunkemoeller. He does good work, I know, because he was my intern.
Well, thanks, Allison. Yes, it's true. I used to be your intern. Let me also tell you another secret. I did not come here today by parachute, despite some of the things we've been hearing in the news lately from the governor's office. I also want to say that I'm not from Washington, D.C., and I've never seen the show West Wing. I've heard it's a decent show, though. But the truth is, I was born and raised and educated right here in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, if you really want to know. In fact, actually, I grew up right next to a nature preserve that is covered in oil from a ruptured pipeline today as I speak. So that's another whole story. So not too long ago, the Ohio chapter of the Sierra Club uncovered a document that looked like something you would probably find on the desk of Vladimir Putin, not buried in the files of a state agency right here in America. It was a plan for our state government to team up with the fracking industry to use our own government's resources to persuade public opinion, to discredit citizens group like the Ohio Sierra Club, and even elected officials, to deny the public of an open discourse and participatory democracy, where the elected officials in this building would do their job to represent the people of Ohio. It wasn't long ago that we stood with Representatives Hagan and Antonio in this very State House and stood with them as they called for an investigation into the state propaganda plan, or fracking, as Bobby liked to call it. The plan that the governor's office was behind was to utilize our state government to convince Ohioans to live with the wholesale giveaway of our state parks, state forests, and public lands. Our state forests, our state parks, and our public lands. Places that Ohioans explore and enjoy. Places where we get outdoors, and places that we're unfortunately losing way too fast. Here in Ohio, we rank 47th in the nation in public lands per capita. And that's probably why 70% of Ohioans are opposed to fracking on public lands. And that is also probably why the governor is willing to utilize every government asset at his disposal so that his allies at Halliburton and the Ohio Oil and Gas Association can cash in. The investigation hasn't happened yet, but what has happened was our governor was held accountable for a secret campaign. And at that moment, he had no choice but to side with the majority of Ohioans. Ohioans who don't want drilling rigs, trucks, earthquakes, radiation, or toxic chemicals anywhere near where they take their kids camping and fishing and hiking. Because as we all know, the fracking does nothing for the scenery. He said that he never thought it was a good idea to go fracking around in our parks. But if that's the case, then why did he sign the bill in the first place? Now I want to talk about something else the governor said in all that mess. I'm not for it, he said. But he also said the regulatory framework isn't mature enough. Well, Mr. Kasich, I agree with you 100%. Not only is ODNR unable to regulate fracking effectively, not only is Tom Stewart from the Ohio Oil and Gas Association the real director of the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Oil and Gas Division, not only are few sacred public lands completely unfit for massive industrial operations like fracking, but let me tell all of you today something he forgot to say. Not only is fracking too dangerous for our public lands, it is too dangerous for our communities. Now, a little more about that Ohio TNR Oil and Gas Division. Let me say first that the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, you should consider us your allies, not your enemies. It was us who stood up to the Strickland administration against budget cuts and job losses in your agency. Jobs that once existed to protect the environment. It was us who stood with you to move forward on protections for Ohio's scenic rivers. It was us, we were your allies. But ODNR, you strayed too far. Not only are you naming us on your secret enemies list, you're refusing even to follow the law. Today, the Sierra Club Ohio chapter is filing our third public records lawsuit in just 2 years. Not only has Ohio Department of Natural Resources cast aside its allies, has allowed itself to become political partners with the very same fracking industry it is supposed to be regulating. Not only does Director Zeringer on the Oil and Gas Division, or I should say Director Stewart, have contempt for the people of Ohio, they have contempt for the law itself. Laws that were designed to protect citizens from agencies exactly like them. At ODNR, we will not stop holding you accountable to the public. We will not stop ensuring that you're transparent and legal in the way you do your business. Ohio is the heart of it all. That's what the signs say when you roll into Ohio along the freeways and the interstates, when you come across the state lines. And I think maybe ODNR is a little confused about what exactly Ohio being the heart of it all means to most of us. When I grew up and I asked what that meant, I was told that Ohio is sort of the crossroads. It's the place where people of all types come together, or pass through if they're trying to get to California or New York maybe. Sounds like a great place, right? A place for new ideas. Those are the sort of things people would tell me. I don't think anyone ever thought that being in the heart of it all meant that Ohio is a place where you could dump toxic or radioactive waste more easily or more cheaply than anywhere else in this half of the country. And that's why we're here today, to hold our legislators accountable for letting this rogue agency turn our state into the dumping ground of the Midwest. But Ohio is also the heart of something else. It is literally where the shale fields of Pennsylvania and the coal fields of West Virginia, and where the wind turbines and solar panels began on the western half of our state. It is literally the crossroads of the energy revolution. The energy revolution that will watch mercilessly as a tired and dying fossil fuel industry digs deeper and deeper for dirtier and harder to reach fossil fuels. They are literally scraping the very bottom of the barrel, and oil and gas will not last forever. Anything that cannot go forever will come to an end. Building your economy on dwindling resources is no way to get us back on track, unless by back on track, you mean on track to 1859. In Western Ohio, solar manufacturing plants, energy efficiency companies, and wind farms are showing us the path to our energy future. Not only are Ohio's clean energy programs delivering the benefits of clean air and lower cost energy to all of Ohio, they're rebuilding small town USA. Van Wert County, for example, has over 100 wind turbines, owned by a company that just paid taxes, imagine that, to the tune of $2.1 million for 2013 back to Van Wert County. And that's just for 1 year. That's money that the county could use to invest in lost funds from the state for education, or to build parks, or to rebuild their community however they see fit. And that tax check is not even counting the benefits that the farmers get for having a wind farm on their lands. In fact, they get a share of the company when they lease for a wind turbine. These are businesses that can't leave Ohio. These are businesses where the jobs don't move back to Oklahoma or Texas, or get shipped off to China. So now I want you to think about how different that is from what is happening in eastern Ohio. And I'm not just talking about Portage County, where the highest concentration of dangerous injection wells are poisoning the groundwater. I'm not just talking about Youngstown, where more news about earthquakes comes in every day. I'm talking about where the drilling is. Yes, maybe landowners at least get promised huge returns for leasing. Promises that seem to dwindle every day thanks to savvy lawyers for the oil and gas industry. Yes, maybe the hardware stores are selling more valves. Yes, the restaurant and hotel parking lots are full of cars from Oklahoma and Texas. For now, but for how long? How long until the Rust Belt gets a new layer of rust? The taxes on drilling in Ohio are some of the lowest in the entire country, and they're on pace to get lower. And that money isn't going anywhere but back to the community. That's the story the legislators aren't telling you. But if Governor Kasich, members of the legislature, it is not a matter of if clean energy, like wind and solar, will drive our clean energy future and make Ohio truly the heart of it all. It is a matter of when. Stop delaying our future. Stop protecting the oil and gas companies. Stop letting First Energy attack our clean energy laws. And do your job to put us back on track. Now I'd like to invite you all to join me after this rally to attend a committee hearing. This is a hearing where one of Ohio's senators, Senator Balderson, plans to introduce a plan to freeze all clean energy investments in the state of Ohio, and sign us up for more fracking, more injection wells, and more of the same old dirty energy. So I hope you'll join me at 2:30, and the Senate Committee Finance hearing room is on the first floor. I'll be outside at 2:30, and I hope to see you again. And thanks you all for being here today.
Thank you, Brian.